me like a Hellcat.
Well, I've had a YouTube channel for a while now, so I figure it's time for a top 10 something. What that may be? Well, in this case, it's the top 10 questions I get from you, the viewers. So hopefully, you'll enjoy this, and there are some burning questions you have, you might well find them answered here, including some of the big ones. Well, starting off at number 10, we have the first question, and that is, will you ever make 2 videos a day or longer videos? Okay, well, for a start, I make videos between 20 to 60 minutes in length at the moment. Done a couple of longer ones, but the majority of people seem to like them between about 30 minutes or so average. So that's what I do. Will I ever make 2 videos a day? Well, if I was doing this from a full-time career, yeah, sure, maybe. Right now, it's not my career. It's just something I have a lot of fun doing, so probably not yet. Number 9 on today's question list is a fun one, actually. Do I prefer civilian or Leo roleplay? That's, again, really difficult for me to answer because I prefer both. I love both of them. If I had the choice to go in patrol and just do nothing, not have to record, not have to think about those things, what would I prefer doing? Well, it entirely depends. I mean, some days I want to be a cop. Some days I like to be a civilian, so it's just a matter of what I feel like at the time. I don't really have a preference. I have characters, whether I'm a cop or a civilian, and I like to incorporate more than just the shallow scenario by scenario thing into their life. To me, it's about creating a story. What that story does and what that character is doing is almost secondary. Number 8 is a great question. You see what I did there? Yeah, no. Number 8 is, what is your favourite game? And I'm starting to continue a trend here of saying I don't know because I have so many games I really enjoy. From any one period of time, it could be something completely different. Right now, I'm playing Elite Dangerous. I'm playing Overwatch, War Thunder, World of Warships, Star Wars, The Old Republic. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, of course. If I had to pick a favourite game, one game that I could only ever play for the rest of my time in computer gaming, I'd pick Elite Dangerous. I think it's fun, it's diverse, there's so much to do, and I can be creative. I like games that are open world, open universe, freedom to go and do what you want, and that, to me, is hugely important when it comes to these sort of ways to have fun, because when you have a world that you can do anything in, there's always something you can think of. So, number 7 is one from one of my Patreon supporters, that is Spooky Noof. And Spooky asks, what was my college major? Well, my college major, Spooky, was planetary geoscience and climatology. Basically, weather and space rocks, which is very weird to describe, yes, but I studied a combination of physical geography and specialised towards the end in planetary geoscience. So the geography of other planets, and climatology, both how it pertains to Earth climates and other climates throughout the galaxy. I find space truly fascinating and exciting. It's our new frontier of human exploration, and when I got to write my thesis on the formation of the moon, that blew my mind. I was so into it. It was amazing, and I still love the subject to this day. I didn't end up working in it, but I truly, truly love it. Number 6 comes from another of my Patreon supporters. This is NCR Lieutenant, and he asks me, are there any scenarios or RP ideas that I've wanted to try but haven't been able to? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are some ideas which I'd love to do which are more visually involving. Now, roleplay itself doesn't need anything beyond 2 people and a way to communicate. You can roleplay with anything, in text, verbally. But of course, visual acuity is something great we have in a game like Grand Theft Auto or other games, and one thing I'd really love to be able to do is find a way to more accurately control animations on my character, to gesture more, to give people visual clues as to what I'm doing. And I'd love to do some far more diverse, intricate single 1-2 person kind of scenarios that involve more like that. One of the biggest things I find that's hardest to roleplay in game is perhaps scenarios involving accidents. They have to be set up and established, and I love doing them. But the one I've really wanted to do but haven't been able to really do the best has been train stuff. I'd love to have some more train-involved scenarios, broken down subway train in the tunnels, or perhaps train crash out on one of the tracks, vehicle hit at crossing. They can be set up somewhat, but they can never really be role-played properly. It's got to be kind of built, and that's a downside. But hopefully something can be done in the future. You never know. Question 5. Cinco. This one is, what got me into role-playing? Okay, well, I love creating things. I've done a lot of amateur writing, grew up with a mother who was an author, and I've always wanted to write and create little visual worlds. When I was a kid, I'd always play imagining stories, and that never stopped. I love creating things and my own little worlds. Roleplay lets me do that. I've been role-playing since the very first kind of computer role-playing games I got into. Things like the original Elder Scrolls games, Fallout 1 and 2. Role-playing games, RPGs. And I've always loved role-playing games on the computer. Things like Vampire the Masquerades was an amazing one from quite a while ago now, but a fantastic game. And I truly love role-playing games. Now, I loved LSPDFR, and, well, 5M roleplay seemed to be the logical way to progress, because suddenly the people would talk back to you, or you could talk to the cops, and suddenly you had roleplay that went both ways, where you were no longer just the questing hero in a dragon-filled land. You suddenly had the dragons talking back to you, perhaps, or the villagers, and you now have the diversity we have with open world games now lets us roleplay so much more, and it's really exciting to just go somewhere else and be someone different. It's a lot of fulfillment, to be honest. So, number 4 gets asked an awful lot. What is ACDC, and what do I do there? ACDC is about 6 years old. It's an armour community primarily that's recently opened a 5M division in September. Well, more than just armour, it's been quite a few games actually, all sorts of games. War Thunder is another popular one, and it means All Carnage Death Clan is the acronym. I wish it meant All Cats Deserve Cream, but it does not. It's had a few different name permutations, but ACDC is a multi-game community. The 5M portion is just a recent addition, and it's growing surprisingly strong. I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, the future is quite bright. What do I do there? I was Civ Director. I've just stepped back to a membership position because actually I prefer it. It's been a lot of stress and a lot of work, and I've always said from the beginning, because of my YouTube commitments, I wanted to help them build it and then step back to just be a member, because I have so much on my plate. I didn't feel I could dedicate enough time to being in charge of a department. It wouldn't be fair on the department, so yeah, we built it, we handed it off, and now I'm back to just being plain old Firekitten, which is surprisingly fun. Question 3. Well, 3 is an easy one to answer. Why did I start doing YouTube? I actually started back 5 years ago as a commentator working on some sim racing broadcasts, and I really enjoyed it. That grew and grew and grew, and 4 years later I was doing racing esports events and some real world commentary. I really enjoyed it. I now work in radio, and I decided back in maybe March, maybe April, that I wanted to start trying my own channel. So I started uploading videos and making LSPDFR content, and I grew from there. It's been a crazy journey, but it was really something that came around from the commentary side of things, which is something I just found I had an ability for and was really enjoying, and YouTube seemed like a logical progression to that. So here we are now, and it's still blows my mind that I've reached the point I have. It's unbelievable, and I have to thank all of you guys for that, but you seem to be enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it too, so let's keep enjoying the ride. Question 2 has so many permutations and variations of, why did you leave DOJ? Are you still friends with XYZ? I'll answer it as succinctly as possible, because I've had this so often. It ended up having to be in the top 2 here. Why did I leave? I wasn't happy. I didn't really enjoy the community anymore. It wasn't what I wanted in the first place and what it had been when I joined. Personal preference, really. I just wasn't really happy there. It wasn't doing it for me, and it was different. Am I still friends with XYZ? People ask me a lot if I'm still friends with Code Zero members. I was never friends with them. We weren't not friends, but we weren't friends, you know? They would come in to do their recordings, and anybody who was in patrol at the time could help out if they were asked to, and I got asked to a few times. I roleplayed with them, and when I roleplay, I'm in character, and I do my best to make sure that their video comes out the best it can. Did we talk off camera? We exchanged pleasantries now and again, but they really weren't around the TeamSpeak very often, so I wouldn't say we were friends. So it's not that I'm not friends anymore, it's just that I wasn't friends to start with, and yeah, it was a good community, and things changed. I wasn't particularly happy with it, so I left, and we started ACDC. Probably recognise a lot of the names that are here, because they were all former DOJ members. A lot of them were, at least, and we're just doing our thing. We don't want to be DOJ, we don't want to compare ourselves. It's going to happen anyway, but we're just doing our thing, our way, and the way we want to enjoy it, because what's gaming if you can't sit down and just enjoy it? There's no point. Question number 1. I think you could all guess which question this was going to be, and it's the do a face reveal / will you do a face reveal in various forms. And it's come across as a question of when will you, and almost a demand at times from some people of do one, you should do a face reveal. And honestly, this is a very personal question, guys. I don't have a lot of confidence, I don't have a lot of self-esteem, and it does sometimes surprise people when I talk like this, and people think, oh, she's so confident, she's so charismatic, but I'm not really at all. I'm quite an introverted, shy person, and I honestly, I don't feel comfortable. I've never felt comfortable behind a camera, in front of a camera, I should say, and I find it kind of difficult to do. Will I do one day? Probably, yes. At some point I will likely do a face reveal, but I don't feel comfortable doing it right now, and I don't want my content to be judged based on the face reveal, which is what I think a lot of people would like. I think they want to basically decide whether they want to watch my channel based on how hot I am, or if I'm ugly, they won't watch it. And maybe I'm an overthinker, but it's a subject that really kind of upsets me a little bit, because I feel like it's driving what people think of me, and I don't want it to be a defining factor of my content. I don't want to be one of those girl gamers that people watch because, oh my god, she's got her boobies out on the internet, or oh, she's really hot, I like to watch her videos. It's like, no, I don't want it to be like that. Not that I'm hot, I'm not. You know, I'm nobody. I'm just any old person. But now I'm starting to ramble and rant and vlog about the subject. But to summarise the question, yes, at some point. When that point will be, please give me time. Okay? Well, that was my top 10 questions I get asked all the time here on YouTube. And it's been fun, actually. This has been really interesting trying to answer these things. I tried to take these questions as they came. I didn't really think about them too much when I wrote them down or when I collated the questions to work with. I just put them together, and I literally pressed record and talked about the question as it came to my mind. I didn't script this or prepare it ahead of time. I wanted to give you guys honest answers, and hopefully these have been just that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, guys, and as you saw, 2 of my viewers in this one have been Patreon supporters of mine who got to ask questions, and you too can be a Patreon supporter of mine if you wish. The link is in the description, and it's vastly appreciated, especially seeing as YouTube is screwing us regularly now. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Bye.